So this is Solzhenitsyn's stories about Communist Party loyalists who were arrested by the Gulag system and thrown into prison. That happened to them all the time, because no, it wasn't like the system was playing by any real rules, you know. In fact, it was probably even better as far as the fundamental motives of the system were concerned, that you were innocent when you got arrested, because that made it even more miserable. And it would be even funnier if you were arrested for supporting the system that was going to arrest you. It's like that was the perfect form of vicious irony, and so that happened a lot. To say that things were painful for them is to say almost nothing. They were incapable of assimilating such a blow, such a downfall, and from their own people too, from their own dear party, and from all appearances for nothing at all. After all, they had been guilty of nothing, as far as the party was concerned, nothing at all. It was painful for them to such a degree that it was considered taboo among them, uncomradely, to ask, what were you imprisoned for? The only squeamish generation of prisoners. The rest of us, with tongues hanging out, couldn't wait to tell the story to every chance newcomer we met, and to the whole cell, as if it were an anecdote. Here's the sort of people they were. Olga Sliozberg's husband had already been arrested, and they, which was usually the KGB, and usually in the middle of the night, and they had come to carry out a search and arrest her too. The search lasted 4 hours, and she spent those 4 hours sorting out the minutes of the Congress of Stakhanovites of the bristle and brush industry, of which she had been the secretary until the previous day. The incomplete state of the minutes troubled her more than her children, who she was now leaving forever. Even the interrogator conducting the search could not resist telling her, come on now, say goodbye to your children. Here's the sort of people they were. A letter from her 15-year-old daughter came to Yelizaveta Tsetkova in the Kazan prison for long-term prisoners. Mama! Tell me why. Write to me. Are you guilty or not? I hope you weren't guilty, because then I won't join the Komsomol. So that was a Soviet youth group, sort of like the Boy Scouts or the Brownies, except it was the communist version. Because then I won't join the Komsomol, and I won't forgive them because of you. But if you are guilty, then I won't write you anymore, and I will hate you. And the mother was stricken by remorse in her damp, grave-like cell with its dim little lamp. How could her daughter live without the Komsomol? How could she be permitted to hate Soviet power? Better that she should hate me. And so she wrote, I am guilty. Enter the Komsomol. How could it be anything but hard? It was more than the human heart could bear to fall beneath the beloved axe, and then to have to justify its wisdom. But that's the price a man pays for entrusting his God-given soul to human dogma. Even today, any Orthodox communist will affirm that Tsetkova acted correctly. Even today, they cannot be convinced that this is precisely the perversion of small forces, that the mother perverted her daughter and harmed her soul. Here's the sort of people they were. YT gave sincere testimony against her husband. Anything to aid the party. Oh, how one could pity them if at least now they had come to comprehend their former wretchedness. This whole chapter could have been written quite differently if today at least they had forsaken their earlier views. But it happened the way Maria Danielin had dreamed it would. If I leave here someday, I'm going to live as if nothing happened. Loyalty. In our view, it's just plain pig-headedness. These devotees to the theory of development construed loyalty to that development to mean renunciation of any personal development whatsoever. As Nikolai Adamovich Vilenchuk said after serving 17 years, we believed in the party and we were not mistaken. Is this loyalty or pig-headedness? No, it was not for show and not out of hypocrisy that they argued in the cells in defense of all the government's actions. They needed ideological arguments in order to hold on to a sense of their own rightness. Otherwise, insanity was not far off.